All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Mafia Memoirs. My name's Jody.
I'm Rod.
And we are super excited to be with you today. We tried to go live, but for some reason, we could not make the connection. So we grabbed a Zoom call and grabbed Bo. And so Bo with Pure Detailers is on the line with us today. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing wonderful. You guys, how are you?
You know, we are, super, super busy. I started this morning training people on RotaFest at 7:30 and went all the way till 9:30 and then started doing Mafia Memoirs. And as soon as we get off this, I'm doing another one. So, and we're trying to get ready for Seaman 1 week. So
1 week. It's coming quick.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So, and I think everybody, the question about SEMA 2020 is, are you part of the GP20, which we're not?
Me neither.
And what is the big reveal? So I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a stellar job marketing that. That's for sure. It's a big buzz right now.
Yeah, everybody likes a secret, right?
Absolutely.
If you know the secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I've
great.
tried to squeeze it out of some of the guys, but no.
No, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get it out of anybody. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not hair gel for Tony's hair either.
No, well, you know how it goes.
Right.
Maybe it's polishing cream for you
It's
guys.
polishing cream for us bald-headed guys.
I would be a customer.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited to have you on board. And so we just wanted to, how did you get started in detailing?
It's one of those things. It was basically an accident. What most people don't know, I'm a sausage maker by trade. So I've spent my entire life working inside meat plants.
Wow.
And I did that for 12 years up in New York City. And after a while, it just got enough, the cold, the wet. And so my wife and I kind of threw a dart at the map and ended up in Florida just by accident. And I spent a year or so looking for a business to possibly buy or start, and really didn't find anything that struck my fancy. And then I got involved with some people in the detailing industry, and I did some research and I liked it. Unfortunately, it was not a good fit. And after about 9 months, I just thought that maybe this is not for me. But I ran into a guy who told me about mobile tech. So in January, I went to mobile tech as kind of going to see if this is it or if I should just vacate the industry altogether. And I saw this group of guys that were just different. And I just knew instantly that if I had to stay in this, it would have to be with this group. They were all carrying themselves differently. They looked just super professional. I ran into Justin Lobato at the Buff and Shine booth, and he invited me to the IDA event that night where they were giving out the awards. And I did not know about the IDA either. And it sort of just lit a new fire in me. And I ran into Renny, and then basically the rest is history. I knew right away that if I were going to become a detailer, I had to go and take this training. So I went home. I told my wife, this is it. We're going to throw the last little bit of dough we have into this training and go after it 100%. And she said, absolutely. And I called Diana and we set up, and I flew out in August, I believe it was, because they were booked. I flew out and did my training in August of 18, and have loved what I do ever since.
That is such a cool story, because I know when you and I first talked about coming on board with Mafia Memoirs, you told me, it's like, oh, my story's not very unique. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're a sausage maker. You looked at the detailing industry. You almost left before you really got a start. And then because of, the way certain men and women were carrying themselves and really trying to lift the entire industry, you're like, you know what, I want to be part of that group. I think that's a really cool story.
Yeah, I mean, I literally started as the Bucket Brigade, right? I felt like the Bucket Brigade. I was out there doing, $80 full details, and it was just, I obviously picked a very light sort of work at a late stage in life. Like, it's not like it's a physical work being a detailer, right? And I pick a place like Florida where it's 100 degrees and 90% humidity. So doing $80 details, I mean, it wore me out. It really did. And I knew I was doing something terribly wrong. But that group of guys, I mean, the Mafia, they were just carrying themselves differently. And you could easily understand how they command just a better attention of their clients. And I knew that was the only way forward. Right. And I was not disappointed going to training out in Big Bear was just eye-opening. Not only because I was not a great detailer, I thought I was, but I learned a lot. But there's just so much more involved in that, and the camaraderie and the group of guys that you're involved with now it's tremendous.
Yeah,
tremendous.
So that was 2018. So August of 18. So you're just a little over a year and a couple months.
Yeah,
you've been on a whirlwind. I mean,
yes.
We've worked with
this.
You've been to McCall's. I mean, holy cow!
Now this Mafia Memoirs. I mean, this year, every time I think it can't get any better, it seems to get better, and it's been a crazy year. Yeah, I mean, it was very late this year that people got picked for Air Force One, so I thought that there was no shot, and then all of a sudden you get the call and you're involved, and then as we're doing that, all of a sudden this email dumps in from P&S and Bob Phillips that, hey, do you want to come to McCall's as well? And it's like, I can't believe it. And then at Air Force One, they made me a made man of the Mafia too. So yeah, it's been a crazy year, and I have just so many people to thank for this. Because without that group, this would never have happened. My business is successful. We're busy, and it's been crazy.
So
I'm very grateful.
So let's talk about your business. What do you specialize in? Are you doing retail work? Or are you doing detailer work? Or
no, I'm 100% retail. I'm 100% customers, and I don't do any VIP or monthly services. Again, I'm just me. I'm mobile. That's all I want. This is as much a lifestyle business for me as it is. I'm not trying to be the biggest detailer in the world, but I'm working very hard to be the best. And again, to do that, I have to surround myself with the best, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm perfectly happy doing a couple of cars or 3 a day, but it's all retail. So I have to go out and generate new customers. I'm a new business still, so I have to generate new customers all the time, which is the challenge that you go through. And on top of that, I'm definitely not the most inexpensive person here in Florida, but it helps having all the certifications and having been selected to some of these teams. But yeah, I'm 100% retail. I try to focus mainly on cars and motorcycles and trucks. I do a little bit of RVs. I do a little bit of boats, but it's minor. Again, it's just me, so it takes me a long time to go through those. But I'm doing fairly well with cars. We have a lot of competition here. There's a lot of guys fighting over the exotics, and I am 100% focused on being the king of the minivan. I want to be the soccer mom's go-to detailer.
There you go.
The prices are the same, and there's just a whole lot more minivans here than there are Ferraris.
Yep, I use that example all the time. As when I was doing mechanic work, I started out in the 80s as a certified mechanic, and everybody wanted to work on exotics. Everybody wanted to work on hot rods. And I'm like, you can do the brakes on a Honda and make a lot of money. And nobody wanted to do that. And I'm like, that keeps the lights on. There's a lot of Hondas going through brakes, man. Just do a brake and a Honda. And so you kind of have to supplement that in and out. And obviously your marketing photos are going to change depending on what you're working on. But yeah, I love it. The king of the minivan. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and it's served me well, and now I'm seeing more and more of the exotics and more of the classics involved. And for next year, we're really going to start focusing on the longer term protections, the ceramic coatings, the interior protections. Something that I have not done a lot of up till now, but it's going to be a major focus for next year. Kimberly's rebuilding my website, and hopefully that will go live here in another couple of weeks or a month or so. But yeah, so we got big plans for next year. But again, I just want to be a one-man band. I have no plans of hiring people. So.
That's just fine.
I love that because
Yep.
one, you know your identity, you know what fits your personality and your stage of life. You've also identified a market that I think a lot of people would, to Rod's point, skip over or grumble about. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to be the king of the minivan. I'm going to own this lane. And by owning it, not only is it giving you a lane that you can dominate, but it's also because people are seeing your phenomenal work that it's now extending into other lanes that are maybe of more interest to you. But it's giving you a good, foundation to build a solid business. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It does give me the avenue because, again, there's not too many people who put coatings on their minivans. At least I haven't found them. But, they always have another car and another car. And there's a lot of money in this part of on the sun coast of Florida. So there's a lot of really nice cars here. Yeah. And, as you get in and you do their dirty cars, then they start, hey, can you do this one too? Can you do this one too? And that's how I grow my business. It's probably a little slower way of growing it, but it works. And again, when it's only me, it's not really that big a deal.
Yeah. So how are you? You're a year and some months into it. How did you initially start marketing, and how is that changing over time?
So I started out, I did a lot of Google AdWords in the beginning to always show up on number one. And it paid for itself, and it definitely got my name out there, and it got me some phone calls. Now it's Facebook, it's Instagram, and it's Nextdoor, the Nextdoor app. And then we have some, I market parent networks, right? So that's where the minivans are. It's with parents. And I started out by doing a couple of cars for free for some military people. So we donate details every now and then, responders and military guys. And it just happened to be that one of the guys that did a car for free, a military guy, his wife was an influencer in a parents network with over 15,000 members. Wow. And he said, you know what, you did this for me. If she likes it, she's gonna send it out through her network. And it worked. And the more cars I did for this network now, when somebody goes into that network and asks for a detail, there's 3 or 4 that gets 1 or 2 recommendations, and I get 100. So awesome. That really worked out well for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
awesome. So I do stuff like that. I heard somebody else on the group here the other night talk about doing with the schools when they do the car washing for fundraisers to donate my service to that and have my van out there to lend credibility to what they do and maybe get more people to put in. I thought that was a brilliant idea. Definitely something we're going to look at going forward. Yeah, because we have the rig with everything in there, so it'll make it easy and quick, and maybe they can knock out some more cars and make some more money, and I can give everybody who comes in my business card.
I love that. Nice. That's a great strategy. It's interesting because as we talk to so many different detailers, everybody has such a unique approach to the market. Some people just want to totally stay away from dealership work. Some people want to be a one-man band like you, and you're perfectly content. And then others want a blend of the two. And I think it really just goes to show that there are different ways to approach this industry. You just got to find the lane that fits your personal goals, your personal lifestyle. Like you pointed out that you wanted to have a lifestyle business as well. And so it's really, brings to mind that there is a way to do it. You just got to bring your unique you to the industry and dominate your lane in your market. So,
yeah, that was probably the biggest wake-up call for me when I went to training, because I had a website like everybody else has had a website, and I did everything like everything else you saw online. And then Renny said, go look at Chip Foos's website and look at how he does it, and it's all about him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily so much. It's about the cars too, but he's everywhere. So that's what I did. I completely changed my website. I made it all about me. And now everybody who books with me, they already know me before I get to the door, and they always recognize me because my picture is everywhere on my website now. And this is from a guy who refused to have his picture taken by anybody for 20 years. And then all of a sudden I got to tell my family, well, now it's got to be all over the internet. But that really made a massive difference. I couldn't believe it. But all of a sudden I relate to people in a different way. And they're comfortable with me showing up in their driveway, mamas are home alone with the kids, and it's important to them to know that it's a trustworthy person that's in the driveway and hanging around their house when they're not there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, that made a big difference. Yeah,
it's amazing how much that changes. And my wife's very similar to that. My wife's not very public. She doesn't post a lot of pictures of herself or anything, doesn't put a lot of information out online, and I'm all over everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've never been that way. Jody and I, we've been doing this many years. We're 10 years into this now, and it's I'm always amazed. I don't think that way. And so when we go to an event, like we were at SEMA a year ago, and somebody comes up and goes, "Oh man, I came to SEMA just to meet you guys," and I'm like,
just me, man.
You got like some childhood obsession with Charlie Brown or something? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I love it. I think it's awesome, and I think that is something that's changed a lot.
I just want to hold the football for you.
That's right. He's supposed to. So I think that's a different thing that's changed in the way that you market and the way that you. To me, when I've met you in the past, it's basically you're like a sponge. I see you absorbing all this information from Renny or Justin, and those are two great mentors. I mean, for anybody in the detailing industry, I've had people approach me at events and stuff, and they're like, how would you go about approaching Justin Lobato to ask him? And I'd be like, I just walk up and ask him,
say hello,
right up. Yeah,
like, hi, my name is, and then take it from there. So I think that's a big misconception about the Detail Mafia is some people think that they're unapproachable, and it's totally the opposite of that. I mean, everybody I've ever met that's been in the Detail Mafia is open to not just talking to them, but giving them advice about their particular business. I mean, you could be in the same market. I mean, you're in Florida. Justin's in Florida. You got Mark is in Florida. You got all kinds of people in Florida, but you guys still get together and discuss your individual businesses because you have a different market segment. You're not the same person. You're not going after that same person. There's room for everybody.
You are the king of minivans, so nobody's going there.
No, I've received a lot of help from Miami Lux down there in Miami, and Justin has been a massive help anytime you reach out. But I was lucky. I got Duck Parfait as my mentor. And his business is pretty much exactly like mine, right? It's just him and his van. So he's just been absolutely outstanding. And I've done a lot to Mortensen. So in the beginning, I only had like one package like he did. And I kind of named them for things here rather than level 1, 2, 3. So, people don't go in and look at everybody's number one level and then match the prices. Even though it's not the same, and that happens a lot. And this is a very competitive market. I mean, we have so many detailers here, and there are so many of the $80 guys.
Yeah.
And they come out of the woodworks every other week. There's 10 new ones, and but that's just the same it is. I mean, this area is growing so fast that there's too many cars that none of us could do them all anyway if we wanted to.
Right. And I think that's a big key to it is there's enough cars. Like you said, most people own 2 cars. Most households have 2 vehicles. And so there's a constant stream of cars coming in. And I do think that market you're talking about going into next year with the maintenance stuff, that's one of the things that, like Justin, we spent some time last year in Justin's shop, and he and I had a really long conversation about that. And that is, in business in general, it's easier to get business from an existing customer than it is to get a new customer. And so those maintenance packages and those follow-ups, those are key to maintaining that customer base for the industry. And I think that is, that's something, if you look at some of the more successful detailers throughout the country, that's where they're at, is they have their customer base that stays along there, and then they go pick stuff up along the new line. And
with the coatings, we're going to do more of that. I try to get my clients into every 3 to 4 months rotation, so I see them every 3 to 4 months with the coatings. Hopefully that will make it easier for me to do that. But I see so much.
Those are such a big opportunity for people in coatings. I mean, Jody and I 2 months ago went through Renny's 1-day training on inspiration coating. We're now certified, the only software company in the world certified in ceramic coating.
That's amazing, man.
So that was an awesome opportunity because I mean, I'm very much have been involved in the automotive industry. I do not claim to be a professional detailer at all, even though I'm IDA certified and I've got the,
I saw you guys at Air Force One. You're pretty
I
good.
know, but you know, we know our place, and I understand that I work
Especially
on cars,
me.
but it's amazing, and I've explained this to other people. It's amazing just being involved in this industry. I get phone calls all the time to do ceramic coatings. I came to Jody one day. I got off the phone. He goes, "Who is that?" And I said, "You want to do a ceramic coating on a Ford pickup for $900? There's a lady that wants us to do it right now. And she's mad that we won't do it." I'm like, "We go out to the parking lot and do it right now."
Yeah, it's funny, but that's it. I mean, it works, and that's a good business. We have so much sun damage to cars down here, and love bugs are just destroying cars. I see cars that are 2-3 years old that are basically in need of a paint job.
Yeah.
A customer like that would be so much better off getting the coating put on to begin with. It's not like cars are getting any cheaper, or the paint is getting any better.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly it. The paint's getting worse, and cars are getting more expensive. So
yeah, absolutely. So
if you were starting over, or if I was starting brand new, what are some tips that you would give me as a guy that wants to be a single guy in a different market?
Number one, start. Don't wait. I spent way too much time analyzing and checking everything out and weighing all kinds of options. Just do it, and surround yourself with people that are way better than you and listen to them. Go to training. Absolutely go to training. You might think you're good, and you might be just stellar, but there's no way that you spend 5 days in Big Bear and not come home with just a baggage full of stuff. And then every time you meet somebody, implement 1 or 2 things and focus on those, get those implemented, and move on. And you don't need a lot of money. I mean, I started out with a full rig. I built it myself. I have everything and anything that you can do. But I was fortunate, so I had a little money to do that. But, it doesn't require a lot. But it requires you start. You got to start. You just got to go out there and do it and get your licks. In the first 9 months when I was with the wrong people, they really didn't know how to detail. So there was people who really didn't know how to detail who taught me how to detail. It was a bad combination. I spent a lot of time trying to clean cars, and we got them clean, but it took me way too much time. And hanging out with the right people, like the Details Network and the Mafia, going to their seminars and listening to their the weekly conference calls. There's just so much you get out of it. Listening to this, I've since you called me, Jody, I listened to every single of these.
Wow.
And it was fun. I learned so much. I mean, there's so many cool stories out there. There's so many different ways, as you're saying, that people run business. And I can't not listen to one and not write a note down that maybe you should look at this the next time. Right? So it's been cool.
That's awesome. Because really, that's
you got to get started. You got to get started.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about it, buy a water hose, go out and do it. It doesn't require a lot.
All right. I got a side business on Saturdays. My kids are going to be really busy. All right, new business.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's a great way. I mean, we have a lot of kids here doing it too for pocket money, and it's good. They take some business away from us, but it's really not the type of business that we would want anyway. And I have no problem helping people out with stuff like that. And I think it's pretty cool. The other day, this is actually a true story. I'm detailing a car in the driveway, and all of a sudden this young kid comes jumping out of the car. And my tagline has always been detailing is personal. All of a sudden somebody's screaming that down the street, detailing is personal. I'm like, what's going on? And this is a young kid who's just starting out in the business, who's been following me and picking up stuff from me. And now he's calling me every other day or every so often to get some mentoring and help him out how to do it. And I'm happy to do it. It's fun.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny because a couple of years ago, it's funny how the stuff kind of weaves around. My daughter didn't want to help in the house on a Sunday, and my wife said, "Fine, go help your dad." And so she came out and she's like, "I'm going to come help you." And this is the daughter that I call the princess.
Okay.
She's 17 now, but she she came out and she said, Mom says I need help you. And I said, okay, fine. We're going to restore the headlights on a 3/4 ton truck. And she just looked at me like, we're going to do what? So I videoed her. I gave her my flex and I said, we're going to sand these headlights down. We're going to tape them all off and you're going to polish the headlights out. And she detailed the headlights on this truck. And so I took a video of it. And I've shown people back and forth and talked to them about it. And the other day at school, she comes in, she goes, I had a teacher come to me and go, I didn't know you could restore headlights. And so I'm like, there's a side business. If you want to restore his headlights, I'd charge you $65 if I were you, and you can borrow my stuff. But
yeah, go do it. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there really is power in being willing to serve other people and share your knowledge and, lifting everybody up. Because as you said, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of cars.
Oh, yeah.
And there's always going to be competition. But, when you're a good neighbor, karma and good business comes your way. It just naturally does. So
we got 1,000 people moving into Florida a day, every single day. Right. And I don't know how many comes into our neighborhood, but it's a lot. I mean, this place is just expanding and expanding and expanding. And, if everybody comes in here with 2 cars, we got room for a lot more guys than just us.
This is good.
That's 2,000 cars a day if you're keeping track. Just if you.
That's awesome, man.
That's true. I got a calculator.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So tell people, let's let people know your address, what part of Florida you're in, and how they can get a hold of you, your website, all that stuff.
Yeah, so we're all mobile. So we don't have an address. We don't have a fixed location. I do when I do big ceramic coatings, I take the cars. I got a big 3-car garage that I use for where I have my lights set up and stuff like that. But you can find us online at www.puredetailers.com. Our phone number is 941-777-1271, and Facebook and Instagram at Pure Detailer. So that's where people will find us.
Yeah,
you'll see us running around the street all the time.
Yeah, which part of Florida are you in?
We're in Sarasota and Bradenton, so we operate basically in Manatee County, Sarasota County. We venture up to St. Pete and Tampa every now and then, but we try to stay in Manatee and Sarasota County.
Okay. So those of you in Pensacola, that's a little far.
Yeah, don't go there.
That's a little far, unless it's a big job. You got a fleet of cars that need ceramics or
he'll take care
of a garage full of classics. I will drive anywhere.
That's right.
That's awesome. Right. I love it. So
yeah, I got a minivan and I'm not afraid to use it.
That's the quote of the day.
That is awesome.
I've got a minivan and I'm not afraid to use it.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, this has been just a fun conversation. Getting to know you better.
And thank you for all your support, guys. It's been it's been so much fun to meet you guys. It's been a great journey so far, and I hope for many more years of it.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm with you. Guys watching and gals watching, thank you so much for watching us every week on Mafia Memoirs. Next week, we have Scott Wong joining us. And then at SEMA, we'll be doing a number of live broadcasts with just me and Rod and whoever we can grab. So really looking forward to the next couple of weeks. And we will catch you guys same bat time, same bat channel just next week. So see ya.
Bye.
See ya. See you in SEMA.